Hello everyone, this is Feeder Master Viktor Neustroev, and thank you for attending my 33rd webinar, How to Exploit and Neutralize the Past Pawn. Okay, so please tell me if you can see my my screen. I'm screen sharing now. What about the sound quality, if it's okay? No? So, okay. So this is my... Can you see the screen now? I'm sharing the board. Okay, all is good. Perfect. Okay, I just wanted you to know that so my website is ready. So this is my website. This is the link. I think some of you also visited it because I have a blog here. So sometimes I post something on chess.com, but it's very often when I also post a full news here on my own blog here on my website. You can also find online courses here. So there are several courses that you can buy, or you can ask me about these courses. For example, if you like them, but you are not sure that this is what you definitely need, you can ask me. Okay, fine. And this is my profile on chess.com. So subscribe to not to miss any announcements. That's the link. Okay, fine. Okay, we have 12 attendees today. That's not many, but let's wait for maybe a couple more minutes. Okay, just tell me where are you from and what's your ELO rating, like your feeder rating, or maybe if you don't have feeder rating, you have USCF rating or just your chess.com ELO. Okay, good. Keshav has 1334. Danilo has 1800. Okay, Aaron is about 1500. Robert 1600. Okay, Anirudh, I know. Okay, looks like you are quite strong players, guys. Okay, so Pete is only 1800. Actually, for those who are below 1000 or maybe 1100, I recommend to take my beginner's course. So where is it? Here. Yeah, online intensive chess course that I conducted. So yeah, you see here for ELO below 1200. So it contains 8 group lessons, 2 individual lessons. You can also get the access to my course Openings for Beginners and Club Players, and I also provide you with some personal recommendations. So you pay only 250, but get much more. Okay, it's up to you if you want. Fine. Let's now discuss our today's topic, which is past pawns, how to use them, how to how to help your passed pawn, how the passed pawn can help your other pieces to interact with each other and actually win the game. So, for example, what do you know about the passed pawn? I have several questions for you. So, of course, you know to create a passed pawn. Okay, this is the game between Gregory Ravinsky and Vasily Smyslov, and the game was played in 1944. If you want, you can find it, but I'm going to publish the PGN of this game analysis on my website, blog section. Okay. So, to create a passed pawn on one side of the board, you usually should have a pawn majority. Of course, it can be in a different way, but usually you have 3 pawns on one side. He has 2 pawns, like for example here, let's assume that this is a pawn. So if he takes, you take, and that can be a passed pawn if on b6 is not a queen but a pawn. So this is how you can create. You just convert your pawn majority to a passed pawn. And at the same time, if the number of pawns is equal, he also has the pawn majority on that side. But on the king side, while the kings are very close to these pawns, it's difficult to convert a pawn majority into a passed pawn. So that's why it's a kind of advantage, because the passed pawn is a distant passed pawn. Okay, so, and you guys know that a passed pawn can be really very dangerous, especially it's a far advanced passed pawn. And yes, you should block them. Not only control the squares, like for example in this position, white controls c3, c4, and c2 squares. So it's not enough. It's better to block such a pawn mechanically. And now the question for you: what do you think is the best? Okay, so what do you think is the best piece that can block? So what is the best blocker? Okay, knight. Okay, if we that's true. Knight is the best piece to use for a blockade. No, in this position, maybe the bishop on f1, maybe, but generally it's knight. So if we can't block with our knight, for example, or we don't have the knights on the board, then which piece is the next to block passed pawn? If they're on, okay, then with the bishop. And if no bishops, rook, fine. And the worst blocker is a queen, because the queen can be easily attacked. And if, for example, if it's the knight blocking the pawn and someone attacks our knight, we can just ignore it and protect the knight. But if someone attacks our queen, we have to move the queen, because we won't want to give up our queen. Okay, perfect. So in this game, white played b5. That's a kind of a mistake. And you see, the next move of black is c4. And now another question for you. So what if white takes? He can actually take either with his bishop or with his rook. No, let's say first, what if bishop takes? How do we play then? No. Okay, Kevin, rook d4, but I think knight takes on d4. And if queen d4, I can just do anything, including bishop b3. Knight g4, rook f1, bishop c5. No, knight e4, what for? Okay, bishop c4. I don't think knight e4 makes sense. It's just a blunder. But knight g4 makes sense. Then what? Rook f1 you suggested. No, rook f1 is not the best move. After rook f1, if we play bishop c5, probably I think bishop c5 is faced with rook c2. There is a better move in this position instead of bishop c5. What is this move? Knight f2, rook f2. So guys, don't be focused only on f2 square. Okay. Yes, here Sharia is correct. It's a rook d3 move. What's the idea? This rook cannot be taken because if bishop takes, then rook takes e1. Now we want to distract the rook on f1, and if rook takes, then this is a checkmate. And then queen h2. So rook d3 was a winning move. Here. Rook e2 is the best option. It gives more flexibility for white, but still rook d3. King goes to g2, and the rook a3 is enough to gain a pawn back, and also to get some material advantage. What do you think? What's the next move for black in this position? Yeah, it's just rook f3. Rook takes f3, king has to take, then knight e5, and then we take on c4, maybe with our rook, or even with a knight is okay. Fine. Okay, let's go back. So that happens in case of bishop c4. And what happens in case if white captures on c4 with his rook? So you still want to play bishop c5? No, I'm not sure if bishop c5 makes any sense here. So knight g4 again. Rook e2 now. Now he wants to get the rook back. So rook c4, queen c4, and then bishop c5. And if queen c2, then how would you play? Looks like f2 is well protected now. How to get a better position? What? Rook a3? What? Rook d3, you mean? Rook d3, queen d3, because either knight f2 or bishop f2 is not a mating idea. It's just a move that gains a pawn and starts a strong attack, but there is no checkmate. So rook d3 won't work in this exact position. Rook c8. Okay, bishop f2. Rook f2, and then you said this move. And what if he takes? Because if now you take with your knight, then queen d4. If you take with your queen, then king h1 and f3 is well protected with the queen on d1. So no, it's not bishop f2. Okay, so it was enough just to no, bishop f2, knight e3 won't work. Just take on b5. Now the position is materially equal, but black pieces are located better, so black controls the position. What can typically happen here? If something like rook d2 with a discovered attack, then I think just rook takes on d2 is fine. Queen takes d2. And after bishop b6, black is almost winning. Okay, fine. So doesn't really matter what piece white takes on c4, knight g4 is coming. That's why he played h3 in the game. How to continue now? What do you think? c3. c3 is the move that deserves attention, definitely. But no. Okay, so actually it was. It was played c3, queen b3 to stop the pawn. Then bishop c5, rook c2. He mechanically blocks the pawn and also protects on f2. How would you continue then? So what do you suggest? Rook d2, right? Rook d2, and if knight takes on d2? Okay, so rook goes to d2. If knight takes, then bishop f2, king g1, g2, I mean, and then... No, then I think it's obvious. Just to take only one, threatening with queen comes to f2. So probably knight f3 should be played in this position. Then just knight e4 is enough, or maybe just queen e3 first, and then knight e4 and so on. Yes, why black is much better in this position. It's almost a winning position, actually. Bishop d2 can be played soon, by the way. Not now, not now. Okay, right. Okay, yeah, rook d2. In the game it was played rook d2, c takes d2. If now he takes, he loses his rook. That's why rook e2. And this is how he protects on f2 as well as attacks on d2. How would you continue in this position? Knight e4. Okay, yeah, well, let's think about this move. I'm not sure if it's the best option. Oh, queen b5 with the idea to distract the queen and then promote. Okay, Rico, what is the idea of bishop f2 move that you suggested? Bishop f2, rook f2, and what then? Because as for knight e4, I don't like this move because what? He takes, then bishop f2, king g2. Then what? How to continue? Because the pawn can be stopped and queen d1 can be played. Of course, queen is a bad blocker, but in this position, white is one piece up. Okay, so there is a good line that Rico suggested. So bishop f2 first, rook takes, and then knight e4. and he can't really do anything to protect this rook, right? He has to sacrifice the material, like knight d4, queen takes d4, queen f3 probably, but then just d1 is enough. Or maybe take on f2 first, then d1. That's why after bishop takes on f2, he didn't take. He played king g2. How to continue? The pawn is one square left to promote. No, the d pawn is a passed pawn, and it helps to distract other pieces, for example, the queen, and this is how we can succeed in this attack. Rook c3. All right, so it's a rook c3 move. If the queen is distracted, then d1 equals queen, and black is absolutely winning. Oh, queen d1. And then he's threatening to take on d2, either with his queen or rook, or even with his knight. How to play? Yeah, just bishop f3 is enough here to protect. So bishop, and in the game it was, oh yes, we're threatening with rook c1, of course. Then in the game it was knight d2, and after the next move, white resigned. Okay. Okay, Aaron, if you want, you can say something using your microphone. So what doubts do you have? Yeah, so here after queen d4, black resigned. Oh, I mean, sorry, white resigned. Why? So first, how to play? Oh, if he does this move, no, yeah, we can take and then take on e4, but it's not enough. Instead, we'd better take on e4 right now, because if now knight takes, then queen takes, the king has only one square on h2, and in this position just rook a3 with two extra pawns, it should be absolutely winning. So if this move, then queen d4, threatening to play bishop g1 and rook a1. Of course, he can defend against this threat, but without two pawns, it's obvious that black is winning, regardless of the color of the bishops. Okay, how to unmute the microphone? There should be a cogwheel sign. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. So what do you suggest? What position at?
No, like a few months back, you told one variation is wrong, where where white is a piece up. One of the lines white is a piece up.
In what position? So
No,
here,
you told,
what?
yeah, here. Instead of bishop into f2 or knight into e4, something. Yeah, knight into e4 here you told, right?
Knight f4, bishop f2, king g2.
Yeah. Here if rook c1, what will happen?
Rook c1, knight d2.
And
Oh,
if
everything
bishop,
is fine.
no, and if
Bishop what?
bishop to e1, bishop on e1.
And what? So that's not a big
No,
problem.
no. Instead
Okay.
of rook to c1, I'll play bishop to e1.
I just take this bishop with my knight.
Then I'll play rook to c1.
Rook c1 now?
Yeah.
Oh. That makes sense. Let me think. Okay, yeah, this is a winning position. Okay, maybe here. Oh, wait, I don't need to take with my knight. I'd better take with my rook. And if you take, then I have two minor pieces for a rook. So white... I can't say white is better because white is 1 pawn down, but maybe it's equal.
No, but for rook c1 here, what will you play?
Rook c1 here?
Yeah.
No, knight d2.
No, after
So,
bishop e1, rook in e1, pawn into e1, knight into e1, then rook c1.
in that position, okay. Rook c1, just, I don't know, any move, queen b4, for example. Knight d3 works with a tempo. No, you can't succeed. Two minor pieces and the king is well defended. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, guys, let me mute you back. I mean, okay, fine. So, wait, can you see my screen and the board? Anirudh, if you experience some problems, you can just enter the room again. Okay, perfect. No, just exit and enter again if you don't see. Fine. So no, knight e4 didn't work. So only bishop f2 first and then knight e4. That's much better. So what happened in the game? Let's sum it up. So, when white played b5, probably he missed c4 move and didn't realize that the pawn cannot be taken because knight g4 taken on f2. That's why when he realized it, he played h3, but then c3, and the pawn is much closer to the queen square. Then we also put the pressure on f2 and applied a tactical strike, interfere the second rank to weaken the f2 pawn. So here, rook takes. And finally, we distracted enemy pieces to be able to promote the pawn. This is what we did with our rook c3 move. Then we totally dominated here and just played bishop e3. So finally, of course, we sacrificed the pawn, but also gained two more pawns. And in this position, our task is just to create another passed pawn and promote it. So f5, f4. Or maybe we can even checkmate in this position. Or at least start a strong attack. Okay, fine. Another game that I want to show you today is the game played between Aaron Nimzovich and Friedrich Semisch. Okay. So please look at this position. It was black to move, and black played bishop d6 to create, to maybe to start blocking the d pawn. So this is a kind of a blockade. What do you think we should do? How to play in this position? So this game actually illustrates how to fight for the square that for this key square that blocks our d5 pawn. So our task is to get the control over d6 to be able to advance the pawn forward and get more space and better pieces activity. So bishop f4 is suggested. By the way, guys, if you like the class, you can share it with your friends, friends who play chess too. So just tell them about this class, and everyone is welcome The room is limited to 50 people, to 50 chess players. So now it's only 16, so everyone can come. Okay, yeah. So guys, you suggested bishop f4, and this is a good move. And the key question is how to deal with g5. What do you think? Knight g6? Knight g6, g takes on f4, I think. Okay, knight f7 suggested by Robert. No, knight g6 won't work. Oh, sorry. Knight g6 because g takes f4. And if knight f8, just maybe king f8 is enough. Or queen f8. So 2 minor pieces for a rook. It's in black favor. So knight f7 is the move that deserves attention. However, I believe the strongest continuation is knight g4. What then? So let's say if he takes here, then we take on d6, then maybe on c5 or something like that. At least we have a bishop pair. So if he takes here with the pawn, and this is how he gains the material, then knight f6 check, g7, and queen c3. This is the key move. And then we just move our knight to either h5 or e8. I think to e8 is better, and get our queen to g7. So if king g6, then bishop e4. If something like b4, knight e8. He goes to h6 probably. Doesn't really matter. Queen f6, check. He goes here, then bishop f3, and he has to block with his queen, what leads to actually checkmate with knight g7. So you think, what if king h6 first? Maybe knight e4, maybe bishop e4. Okay, let's play still knight e8, and if something takes, let's say queen takes, then queen f6 and bishop f3 with the same idea. So knight g4 is the best move. You also mentioned knight f7 in this position, which is good enough. Knight takes f7, bishop f4. What else can he do? He may capture with the pawn, but then we take here. And then even on b7. If he takes with his rook, we take on d6. We are one pawn up. So he has to take on f4 with his bishop. Then we have intermediate check knight h6, king g7, g takes f4. So if he takes on h6, we have a strong attack. I'll show you. King h6, f takes g5. If king g5, then after king h1, we are absolutely winning. This is a really strong attack. He has to sacrifice the material to be able to save the king. If he doesn't take, he moves here, the g file is closed, then queen c3, king goes back, bishop h3, and bishop comes to e6. Rook f7, and in this position, just maybe rook e1. We'll take it. We'll take the rook on f7 a little bit later, when we really need it, and then we are 2 pawns up. No, we have a rook against 2 minor pieces, but actually it's difficult for him to get these 2 pieces into the game while our pawns are closed, and actually f4, f5 can come soon. Fine. So g5 is not a problem, at least knight g4 and knight f7. That's why he plays queen c7 here. How to continue? What do you think we should do? Queen takes b5. No. What's wrong with queen b5? Who knows? No, of course, bishop a6. So queen b5, bishop a6, and bishop takes on f1. So of course not. Sorry, queen c7. Yeah, just knight d3 is enough in this position, because c4 cannot be played. If c4, bishop d6, and the queen is hanging, queen has to take on d6, then queen b5, and this bishop is hanging. So if c takes d3, then queen takes b7. And if now bishop a6, sorry, not queen a6, but bishop a6, then just queen c5. So neither queen nor knight are hanging. So knight is not hanging because of the queen on d6, that is. And so the queen is protected by our knight on d3. c4 won't work. That's why in this position, instead of c4, he just played a6 to be able to protect the b5 pawn. What do you think? How to play then? Rook ac1, queen a3, activate the rook. Rook ac1 looks good in this position. However, in this position, white played maybe the second strongest move. Yeah, rook ac1 really looks good. Then after c4, we can just... Actually, you'll see what happens. a4, c4. And now queen a3, because the bishop on d6 is pinned. So a4 was played to provoke c4, and because then white realized that he can play queen a3 to be able to destroy the blocker on d6. Now the bishop has to move. Oh, for example, if bishop takes a3, then bishop c7. The dark squared bishop on a3 has only one square. It's e7. No, maybe he can do this, but then rook a3, and rook takes on d3, or at least rook d3 and rook takes on d2 if the pawn moves to d2. So here white is absolutely winning. This pawn is a strong pawn, by the way, strong passed pawn. And the bishop is 7, then d6 with a temper. Now both bishops are hanging. So if bishop g2, then first this move, the rook is hanging, and we are about to promote. No, I'll show you this move. Then let's take, queen takes, then king f1, c takes d3, a takes b5, right, and then b6, b7, and so on. If needed, the king can stop the pawn with either king e2 or king e1. That's why in this position he doesn't take on a3, but takes on f4. Knight takes e4, knight d7. Okay, so here I want you to notice that now the knight on d7 is another blocker, and this is actually a strong piece. And if then black plays properly, then white can't really do anything to succeed in this position. So it's not winning. It's obvious that white is better, but it's not a winning position because of this knight on d7. A takes b5, a takes b5, queen comes to e7. What can you say about rook f to e8 move? What can happen after that? Okay, rook takes a8, and then d6. All right, so rook takes a8. The bishop can't capture because then the rook on e8 is hanging, so only the rook can take our rook, and then d6, attacking everything. Queen c8. I don't know, maybe knight d5 is enough in this position. Threatening with bishop h3, maybe. Maybe not. Maybe bishop h3 first. Bishop h3, bishop c6. And then knight e2, knight d4. That's right, that works. Okay, fine. So queen d8. That's why queen d8 was played. What do you think how to continue? Yeah, true. So d6 to support our queen. If he takes, then it's in our favor. So of course he takes on g2 first. King takes g2. Knight f6. No, he captures on a1, then on a7. So in this position is just slightly better for white. But because it was Nimzovich playing with white pieces, let's just look and surprise how he outplayed. So what mistake he did in this position? So I am sure white played only one mistake. I think in this position it was better just to trade the rooks first. It's a check. Okay, maybe not this. So if I were white, I would keep the pawn on d6, not on e7, because the pawn on e7 is closer to the enemy king that can catch it if needed. Oh, another option instead of d6 was to play queen d6 with a slightly better position. So maybe it's too early to trade the queens. It's better to keep our queen more active. So that was the mistake played by Aaron Nimzovich. Okay, but let's now go to this endgame. Rook e8, rook a7, g5 to chase the knight, knight e2, knight d5, knight d4. So if he takes on e7 with his rook, then rook e8 and knight f5 fork. That's why he takes with his knight. What else could he play? He could play b4, for example. Then either knight c6 or knight f5. Maybe knight f5. But it's gonna be a draw. So c3, b takes c3, b takes c3, then rook a5, c2, then this move, knight e7, and if here something like rook e1, just king f8, save the position, the game should be a draw. So b4 was a good move, but in the game it was knight takes e7, knight takes b5, knight c6, knight d6, and of course in this position he could play rook f8, but for some reason, for some reason they decided to pass the game into knight endgame, and actually here this far advanced pawn, which is not a passed pawn because can be easily blocked with the b pawn, this pawn became a weakness. So the king is closer. If knight takes on c3, b takes c3, king comes and takes the pawn. That's why knight d4 was played, king b4, knight b3, king d5, knight d2, h3 to stop g4 because g4 fixes the pawn structure on the king side. f5, knight d1 with the idea to make a double attack. King f5, still knight e3, the pawn on c4 is hanging, he has to do something, and then he plays knight e4 move. And this is how we took the pawn on the queen side. Now we have a passed pawn, and the position is winning because our king that is located in the center. b4, king e7, b5, king d7, b6. Oh, knight e4 was played. Maybe a better option was king c8. But if so, then king c6, knight e5, threatening with b7, king b8, and knight d7. Let's say he plays knight f6. How would you play, by the way, in this position if you were white? So does b7 work? Yeah, it's right. b7, king b8, and then king to b6, with the idea to locate the knight on c6 with a checkmate. The only move that can stop it is knight d7 or knight d5. Well, knight d7 loses immediately, knight d5. But yeah, that's a draw, actually. So not b7. Well, b7 can be played, but it's better to play knight d3 in this position. Knight d3, then he probably plays this move, then knight b4 and knight a6. He can't cover the a6 square with his knight. That's the point. b7, king b8, and knight d3 in this position also wins the game. Because nobody can stop us from playing knight c5 and knight to a6. Even if the king is here on a7, he may take, but then we promote. Okay, there is a good question. b7, king b8, knight d7, knight takes d7, king takes d7. No, here black wins. He just don't take the pawn, he plays f4, and white king can't stop the f pawn, you see? So to trade the knight was a mistake while the king is too far from the f pawn and can't really block it while the black king can. So b6, king c8 also leads to a winning position for white. That's why knight e4, knight e5 check, king c6, and then threatening with b7 and knight d7. Knight f6, knight d3. And then if here king b8, he loses his knight. If he goes to d8, then just this move, kind of a waiting move with the idea to play knight c5 or e5. Knight b4 is maybe the best option because knight comes to c6. Then b8. Oh, actually king c7 was played, but b8 was enough to win because our knight is able to go back and catch the f pawn if it's required. So b8, knight b8, 6, and knight e4. So it's fine. White is winning. But king c7 was clever. Then just knight e5 to distract this knight and promote for free. So what happened in this game? So first, black made a blockade on d6, and we were trying to dismiss this bishop from this location with bishop f4 and also provoke him to play. We provoked him to play c4, and then we could play queen a3. So here I think the main mistake, and actually the main problem, was the knight on d7 that could successfully block our pawn. But maybe if we play queen d6, we could have better chances to win because of our queen's activity. However, in the game it was d6, the pawn came to e7, but actually became more a weakness than a strong pawn. However, in the end game, Nimzovich somehow could outplay his opponent in the knight's endgame. Okay, fine. The third game I'm going to show you is a good example of how to blockade properly. This is the game between Eric Eliskazes and Salo Floor, two grandmasters of the past. So what do you think? How black should play in this position? Rook c8, rook a c8 looks natural. What else can you suggest? Knight c6. I'm not sure if knight c6 should be played, because knight c6, then what if d5? And actually maybe c4 is a better square for this knight. f5. I don't like f5 at all, because f5 is faced with e5, and then white forces the bishop to be traded for the knight, and then this bishop can be activated. a6 b5 in this position, probably, but it's too slow, I believe. Bishop f3. Okay, what's the idea of bishop f3? So why to trade now? Then knight c4? Ah, no. Just to get the knight to c4 is not enough. So bishop f3, bishop takes f3, then e5. Okay, let's go through the line that George suggested. Knight c6, and I said d5. Bishop f3, bishop f3, right. Knight e5. D takes e6. So then what? No, maybe not. Maybe first take here. She takes f3. So I'm not sure that this is a good position for black. There is no much advantage. Okay, so not knight c6. So he played bishop f3, but the idea of this move was to make this light squared bishop a bad piece. Then rook a c8. Now with the idea to enter the enemy camp with rook c2. Rook c1 cannot be played because d4 is hanging. Rook d2. looks like the only way to protect, because d5 locates the pawn on a light square and it blocks the bishop. e5, while this pawn on d file is pinned. So here he can't really save the pawn except d5 move. If, for example, he does this, then what do you think gonna happen? Yeah, knight c4, and then d4 is hanging. In case of this move, just knight to b2 is a fork. Fine. So that's why after e5, he has to play d5, knight c4, rook e2, knight d6. So this is how we successfully located our knight. Black is better in this position, not winning, but slightly better. What does this knight do? It controls c4, attacks e4, and protects the pawn on b7. So it's a really perfect knight. It does 4 things: attacks 3 squares, and also mechanically blocks the pawn, the d5 pawn. Rook b1, rook goes to c4, b7 is protected, so don't worry. g3, and then double the rooks. So bishop g2, then black decided to trade everything. Maybe it wasn't obligatory for black, so rook c2 or rook c3 seems good, but okay. And then he plays f5. Right. Okay. Okay, Aaron, what do you want to say about what position? I unlocked your microphone.
I was telling you a few moves back when White's rook was on a1 and rook was on d2. Even more back, yeah, even more back.
Here or when? So what do you suggest? In this position? Okay, what was the question? Okay, fine. We'll go back to this position later if you need. Okay, let's now go back to the position where we played f5. So yes, if the knight is on d4, it's perfect. However, the main idea was to force him to take. No, then we take, and then we play e4, king comes to e5, and pawn on d5 becomes a weakness. That was the key idea, of course. But black realized that white could just play f3 and support his pawn chain. F takes e4, f takes e4, and then he plays b5. But why b5? Just not to allow the king to enter our camp. So king d2, king d2, a5. So you see, there is no way to penetrate into the queen side. Bishop f3. And now our king comes closer. h4, h6. Bishop d1, e4 is now the object of the attack. But we play king d8 with the idea to relocate our king, probably to put it to c5. a4. And now the question how to play. So yeah, it's written here. Eric, Alice Casas, and Sala Floor. Now, should we play b4 or we should take? Which of these two moves you prefer? Okay, so George, how did you recognize that after b4 the game becomes drawn? Uh, no. King can get to c5, it gives a closer pass pawn. Okay, so I think b4 is a better option. In the game it was b takes a4. But looks like b4 is strategically better because it allows us to get the king to b6 and then knight to c5. So imagine the knight on c5 that attacks e4 and a4. So if the king is distracted to protect the pawn on e4, like the king is on e3, then we can push b3. It breaks the connection between bishop and pawn, and then b2, forcing the bishop to go to c2. And then with our knight from c5, we'll take the pawn, and he can't take it with his bishop because then we promote. That's the idea. However, in the game it was played b takes a4. Okay, so Aaron, what's the question? Oh, looks like he somehow okay. Well, Aaron, what's the question was? Okay, so he left us. Okay, then fine. Let's continue. So bishop takes a4, king c7, bishop c2, king b6, king c3, king b5. However, I believe in this position white could have some practical chances. King b3, king c5, king a4, and I believe this is still it's still a okay move. If we go to d4, he takes this pawn, and we can't capture on e4 because if we do so, bishop takes, king takes, and then d6 he promotes faster. Okay, so knight c4 now. And I believe here white played a critical mistake. He played bishop b3 move. Instead, he'd better play this move. What's the difference? Who knows? How can we use this mistake? Knight d2 and then okay, Aaron, yes. Later after we finish the analysis, I'll give you a microphone so that you can explain the question. So knight d2, bishop c2, king b6. No, knight d2 is a clever move. So what to do? We're threatening either to take on e4. Yeah, to take on e4 just. So bishop goes to c2, then knight f1. This is the key idea. Then we take on g3 and maybe on h4. If only he plays bishop b1, after knight d2, he could play bishop d3. And this is how he stops the knight, because the f1 square is under white bishop control. And if king d4, And then, of course, d6. And there is nothing that black can do to stop the pawn. So bishop b3 was played in the game, knight d2, bishop c2, knight f1. King takes a5, knight g3, king a4, knight h5. Maybe this is not the best move. I think knight f1, knight e3 was a better continuation. And then g5, maybe. Okay, fine. So knight h5. King b3, king to d4. If he plays d6, we play knight f6. King b4, unfortunately, was played, then knight f6. d6 now won't work. g5. H takes g5, h takes g5. Then he goes here, then g4, bishop d1. Trying to attack the pawn he wants to take, because if knight takes, then he promotes. G3, bishop f3, but now king comes, because this knight can always stop the d pawn. Bishop h1, king f2, and finally he has to sacrifice his bishop for our g pawn. Then he tries to do the same thing with our knight, but our king is closer to the e4 pawn, and then he can't really stop it. We here shoulder the enemy king and can easily promote the e pawn and win the game. So what happened? So first, black decided that it's better to make the bishop, the light squared bishop of white, a bad piece, and this is how he decided to block this bishop. Then the d pawn was blocked with the knight on d6. So for some reason he decided to trade rooks, and then f5. f5 makes sense, of course. So then black created like a wall on the queen side, so that the king, white king, couldn't penetrate into black's queen side. And I think a4 was a mistake, which allowed us to play b4 and have a clearly winning position. But in the game, it was b takes a4 with some drawish chances. But then the critical mistake was played, and knight could capture the pawn on g3. Then the position was technically winning. Okay, so Aaron, what did you want to say? Now your microphone is unmuted. Okay.
I wanted to talk about the position where white had 2 rooks and a bishop and black had 2 rooks and a knight.
So somewhere here?
Yeah, one more move back.
One move back, okay.
One more move back. Yeah, here, no, next move. Yeah, here, what if rook to b1?
Oh, it's black to move, actually. Black played knight c4. Yeah, knight c4, and then rook, the rook is hanging. So
no, but,
if you want here, then rook d4.
No, like, one more move back. One more move. No, like once you told if rook b1, knight a3 fork is coming once you are told. If
what?
Rook to b1, knight a3 fork is coming once you are told. When the rook was on d2, knight c4, rook c2, knight a3 once you told that fork was coming.
So knight c4, then what?
I don't remember, but in one position you...
e5 was, e5. e5, d5 is obligatory. Knight c4, then rook has to play, rook e2. The rook was hanging. So then knight d6. Rook b1 was played on the next move. That's okay, but the knight on d6 is able to stop it. I mean, it doesn't do anything. The knight on d6
Okay. I thought it was attacking on b7.
Okay, so there is a good question by Shreya.
Sir, Yeah, I wanted to tell you. For knight d6, I wanted to play rook eb2 and then start taking on b7 and try for exchange sacrifice.
No, rook b7 cannot be played. Okay, I mute your microphone. So, yeah, let's now discuss a good question. If knight f1 variation. Yes, let's do it. Instead of knight h5, knight f1. Yeah, here. In knight f1 here. Here? Oh, no, not here. Knight f1. What if he plays g4? Knight h2. Okay, no, not knight h2. Knight e3 is played. Knight e3, yeah. So g4 doesn't work. Okay, fine. Now I prepared 2 exercises for you. Let's close it. Okay, in this position, it's white to move, and I want you to find the best continuation. So I hope you can find it. Just how to improve white's position and make a clear plan. What do you think? No, any suggestions? F3. F3. Right, but the pawn is not hanging. The e4 pawn is not hanging. Knight d7, knight d7, queen f3. What for? F4. No, F4 is definitely the move that I like, but no, it's not the best one. D5. D5 cannot be played. Not so. He has too many defenders of this square. B takes c5. Okay. Okay, that well, I just don't understand the idea. B takes c5, B takes c5. What's it then? Knight b3 maybe, knight d7. Okay, guys. So it's d takes c5 move. What's the idea? So he takes and then b5. The c passed pawn is not dangerous. We can stop it on c4, on c3, maybe even on c2 if required. But we can create a distant passed pawn here by playing b6. And that can be a real problem for him because it's difficult to find a good spot for the rook. Of course, we should somehow protect the b6 square with one more piece because of the knight on d7. So that's the idea. So strategically, white is better, and white's plan to win is more simple in this position. Of course, nobody guarantees a victory, but at least white is better. No, probably the game can continue with knight b6, knight e to c4. If he takes, knight takes, then a4, something like that. Oh, wait. If he takes, then not knight, because the knight has to stay and protect this pawn that the rook takes. And then a4, a5, and so on. Okay, any suggestions about this position? Yeah, true. Many pieces that can block. Yeah, but yeah, it's a complicated middle game. So you have to think, but this is a good plan. Let's look again. So get the pawn from the center to be able to distract his b pawn and play b5 to create a passed pawn. Maybe you can even do it in the end game after you trade some material. But I recommend to play b6 as soon as you can, because then you can chase the enemy rook and get more space. Fine. This is actually the game took, the fragment took from the game between Alexander Alekin. Okay, good question. Sorry. D takes c5, b takes b5, a6. How to deal with it? I think a4 is enough. So what's wrong? a4, we still get a passed pawn. Fine. The second exercise that I want to show you is from the game between Spassky and Petrosyan. Okay, it's white to move. Sorry, it's black to move, and your task is to find the victory after knight b7 move. How would you play? How to exploit this passed pawn on d7? No, we are playing for white. So the question is just... So Aaron suggests knight c6. Knight c6, and what then? So knight c6, but then he plays knight d6 fork. How to play after that? Now rook takes d8. Knight takes d8. Okay, actually both these lines work. Either knight d8 or rook d8. However, I like knight d8. Knight d8. Then what? This is how we gain the exchange and threatening to play something like rook e8. If he does this, then rook e8 is coming. He takes, pawn takes, queen. He takes. It's a checkmate. So what if he captures here? Then we just play how? What do you think? Yeah, just knight c6 back. Not knight f7, knight c6. And then we promote. Take on f8 and promote, because he can't really block our pawn on d8. We attacked this square twice, and he has no more pieces. And no more counterplay. Okay, fine. So after knight b7, knight c6 wins. But how to deal with b4 move? How to win now? No, we'll go back to knight f7 a little bit later, after you'll find how to play in this position after b4. Okay, rook e8, queen d4. No. No, come on, guys. Rook e8, queen takes d4. How to play them? Rook takes f8, rook takes f8. Rook takes, okay. Rook e8, queen d4, rook f8, rook queen c5. That's right, that's right. Okay, so here Aaron is correct again. So rook e8, queen takes d4, because what else can he do? We are threatening to take on d8 on the next move. He can't capture none of our rooks. So queen d4, rook f8, rook takes f8, rook takes, king takes, and then queen c5. This is the key move. It's a double attack, because if he takes, then we promote with a checkmate. That's the key idea here. So here we exploit our passed pawn in a tactical way. What if queen c5 immediately? Immediately, queen c5 won't work. If it's a move without a check, then he can just checkmate on the back rank. b4, you mean queen c5 now? Queen takes c5. Rook takes c5, rook d7, rook a5, rook d4. Black is better. Queen c5, and then what? You suggest to play this move? Come on. At least queen c8 works. So d takes c8, rook takes c8. Okay, fine. That was a good question about knight f7. So knight c6, knight d6, knight takes d8, knight takes f5, and knight f7 was suggested by who? Oh, by several people. By Shreya and Keshlav. All right. So I've got the point. So you want king f7, of course, and then you want to trade on f8. Have to take, then check, king f7, and d8 equals queen. Oh yeah, probably it's a winning position for white, but you see, so black is down the exchange, but has two pawns on the queen side. And if white makes a few mistakes, then these pawns can be promoted. So it's much better to play knight c6, because after knight c6, the game is over. There is nothing that black can do. That's why it's much better than knight f7. Okay, fine. That's all for today, guys. Thank you for attending. Don't forget to visit my website. This is my website. tricksofchess.teachable.com. You may find my courses if you want. Or if you don't want to buy any courses, you can just go to the blog section of the course to read my latest articles. And actually, I'm going to make an article tomorrow about the webinar where I'll also share the PGN games analysis. Okay, yeah, thank you, Robert. This is the link to my courses. Fine, thank you. Follow me on chess.com as well, because if so, then you won't miss any new announcements. I'm not sure what I'm going to explain you on the next webinar. I didn't decide the topic. As for playing a game, you can play in a simul. Or actually, if I'm not mistaken, I played Sveshnikov variation against you in the game against you. Okay, yes, we can play, but I'm not sure if now. No, of course not now. Oh yeah, I was playing against Kevin. That's right. That's right. Okay, guys. Anyway, maybe I'll announce another simul soon. Maybe not on Sunday, or some other day. Okay, so follow me, and you'll get the announcement of my next webinar. Also, you can suggest the topic if you want, and if you have any questions, don't hesitate to message me by email. It's tricksofchess@gmail.com. What microphone do I use? Okay, I use this microphone. It's called ATR 2100 USB. I can write here ATR 21. Okay, that's the name of the microphone. Okay, fine.